You're an expert in your field. You've written something that worked. I don't mean a theory. I mean something you tested, piloted, evaluated, or watched fail in an instructive way and then wrote up properly with the evidence attached. It's probably sitting in a journal behind a paywall or in a council report nobody outside the department ever opened, or in your own files because no one asked you to publish it more widely. That's not a criticism of you. It's just how knowledge about solving hard problems normally ends up. Correct, well evidenced, and almost entirely unfindable by the next person who needs exactly what you've already worked out. What I'm building is a catalogue for people like you. The premise is straightforward. Solutions to the major overlapping crises of this period: climate, inequality, institutional collapse, supply fragility, take your pick, already exist in far greater number than the public conversation suggests. The bottleneck isn't invention. It's that nobody's organised the existing evidence base into something a council officer, a charity director, or a policymaker could ever find without spending 6 months doing the literature review themselves. That's the gap I'm asking you to help fill. Here's what makes this different from the usual request to share your expertise for free exposure, which I assume you've learned to be very wary of. Every entry in this catalogue is built to a fixed structure, and that structure includes a field for counter evidence, the context where your solution didn't work, the populations it failed, the assumptions it depends on that might not hold elsewhere. I'm not asking you to write a case study. I'm asking you to write something closer to a pre-registered argument, including the parts that complicate it. If that sounds like more work than the usual pitch, it is. It's also, I guess, close to the kind of writing you actually respect, and further from the kind of oversimplified science communication that probably makes you wince when you see your own field flattened into a listicle. I'd rather have you annoyed at me for asking too much rigour than have your work end up cited in a context that strips out everything that made it credible in the first place. The structure is organised across 6 scales: individual, family, community, city, nation, global. So your contribution sits next to others working on the same problem at a different level, which is usually exactly the connection that doesn't happen in conventional publishing. A pilot program you ran at the community level might be the missing evidence for someone trying to argue the same intervention at national scale, and neither of you would otherwise know the other exists. I want to be honest about what this isn't. It is not paid work, and I'm not going to dress that up. What it is: authorship credit, a stable home for evidence that would otherwise erode in relevance the longer it sits unread, and a structure that treats your caveats as part of the contribution rather than something to be edited out for readability. There's no sponsor whose interests need protecting, no corporate funder whose sector gets gentler treatment in the write-up. Funding comes from individuals only, precisely so that editorial decisions don't have to answer to anyone with a stake in a particular answer looking good. If you've ever had a funder quietly suggest your findings could be framed more constructively, you'll understand why that structural choice exists. The template that I offer you takes a couple of hours for the first entry, less once you've done one. You bring the evidence you've already have. I'm not asking you to generate new research, just to translate what you've already proven into a format other people can find and act on quickly. If you've got something that worked and you're tired of it sitting in a drawer where it does nobody any good, that's the entire pitch. There's a link wherever you found this. And if you've got a colleague whose work belongs here more than yours does, send it to them instead. I'd rather have the right contributor late than the wrong one on time. Thanks. Good luck out there. Cheers.